Hey everyone, I am back this week with another video. This one is a little bit of a not so positive video, I'll put it that way. I don't want to say it's negative. It's just kind of, I want to talk about my experiences with a particular app that I have talked about on this channel before. I want to explain why I'm no longer going to be using them moving forward. And I want to make some recommendations about what you can do to avoid situations like this. Because I think that this can just be a learning experience for us all. I think it's something that I needed to realize in order to push me in certain directions. So yeah, basically if you've seen other videos on my channel, I have been working with an app called Flyp. It's an interesting concept. They basically are an app that matches professional resellers with consignment clients. So clients looking to sell clothes from their own closet, or it could be other resellers just looking to offload inventory. Like I've submitted lots to be sold for me as well. So I've done it both ways, and it's been an interesting process in both directions. I'll start by talking about my experiences with selling on the app. Basically, I have submitted, I think, 3 or 4 lots to be sold by other resellers on my behalf because I just don't have time, or it was inventory that I know is good quality, really good brands. It's just not moving for me for whatever reason. Like I had several Lafayette 148 pieces that were beautiful, like a beautiful blazer, amazing dress, but they just were sitting for me. Like I couldn't get them to move. And I think it's just because my shoppers don't want that brand. So I just couldn't get those items to move, but I knew they were good pieces. So I decided to submit a lot to Flyp with those pieces and a few like champion pieces that weren't moving for me, a couple of Athleta pieces, just a wide range of stuff I've submitted. And they're really good about accepting a wide range of brands, but I will say there are a lot of really good selling brands that they don't accept, which is frustrating. Because they have deemed them oversaturated or of too low of value or whatever it is. I think it's frustrating, and I'm just like, I've had stuff sell for $7 now, and I'm still happy that it's gone and that I made a little bit of money back, even if I have to split the profits with somebody else. So I can't see many people being upset to have something sell for a little bit lower as long as the seller is setting realistic expectations. So I find it frustrating that they don't allow certain brands that I believe sell really well, but they'll allow a lot of other ones that I'm like, I haven't seen those move for years now. So it feels like they are basing their brands, their accepted brands, on older trends. So I feel like they need to get updated with that. And that's my biggest issue from a selling standpoint. From a buying standpoint, I guess, being a professional seller, selling for other people, having my own consignment clients through Flyp, I've run into so many issues and roadblocks throughout the last couple months that I've been using them, that I really didn't reflect on until I had my entire account put at risk. And that's what this, story is basically all about. I took on a client that sent me a massive lot, several bags, a couple pairs of shoes, tons of clothes. It was a huge lot, probably over 25 pieces, maybe even over 30, I don't remember. But it was massive. And one of the items was this lavender purple Fjallraven bag. And I was really excited to get these because I know that they sell really well, they sell really fast, and they sell for high amounts. And this one is supposedly new with tags, right? So I get the bag in, and I've never handled Fjallraven before. I've never been lucky to come across it in a thrift store or even retail arbitrage when I used to do retail arbitrage. I've never come across them before. I've never been able to source them before. I've never owned one of my own. So this was my first time ever handling what I thought was an authentic Fjallraven bag, because my customer told me it was authentic, She wouldn't have submitted it if she didn't think it was real. So I listed it, did all my normal stuff, and it sold in less than 24 hours on Poshmark, which was really exciting. It was a pretty big sale. It was like a $46 sale. So that was really cool. And so I shipped it out, expected, to just earn my profits in a couple weeks. Was really excited about it. My buyer seemed really excited. And yeah, next thing I know, the item gets delivered and I get a return case opened. And the reason was item is not authentic. And I was really freaking out because that can put your entire Poshmark account at risk if they deem that you did this maliciously or that you're doing it on more than one, item. Not that I've done this before, but this can go really negatively really quickly. So I immediately was like, okay, well, I thought the bag was authentic. It seemed real to me. But apparently, because of the material, my customer was an avid Fjallraven purchaser, loves the bags, and she knew that the material was not the same material as the real stuff. I would never have known that because I've never handled a real one before. So that was frustrating. And Poshmark obviously sided with her because she was correct. It's not a real bag. And I got sent it back to me. Obviously, it's sitting in my hands. So luckily Poshmark was like, okay, it doesn't seem like you did this intentionally, so we're gonna let this slide. We're gonna let you keep your account, all that fun stuff. I didn't run into any of those issues. And I think you have to have a lot of violations stacked up against you before they've shut you down. But I was terrified because I've never had a return case because of item not authentic. I've had plenty of return cases opened for other reasons. I've won most of them, if not all of them. This is the first one that I've ever lost. So this was my first return experience. Luckily, the bag came back to me in great condition. I'll probably be able to send it back to my client, with no issues. And she can enjoy the bag. She won't be able to sell it, but she can at least enjoy it, or gift it to a friend or something like that. But I was frustrated because when I reached out to Flyp about this and just saying, hey, I just want to raise an issue to you guys. I had a buyer send me an inauthentic item. Not that I necessarily could have vetted for that in this case because I just genuinely didn't know. But there are plenty of other people who could have vetted for this had there been more pictures uploaded. Because clients are only required to upload one picture of each item that they're submitting to a lot. And I wasn't able to really fully get a vibe for how real this bag was, because had I really paid attention, I probably would have noticed the tags too. But I wasn't able to get a vibe for how real or not this bag was, and neither was anybody else because there's only one picture submitted for it. So you can't tell. And I think that there's other sellers, if I'm running into this, there's other sellers running into this with designer items and items of a much higher value that could get you in a lot more trouble for selling as fake, or as authentic when they're fake. Because if you're selling something for over $500, it actually gets sent to Poshmark authentication before it goes to your buyer. So there's a lot of risks involved now that I'm realizing with selling with Flyp, because you are not able to actually handle the items before they're sent to you. You're not able to do anything with the items before they're sent to you, and you're not really able to vet based on pictures because there's only one picture for each item. And the pictures most of the time are not great because a lot of the people that are signing up to be clients on Flyp are not sellers themselves. So a lot of those people are just taking, a close-up shot of the tag, or they're taking, it's crumpled up in a pile on their bed, and they're just like taking quick pictures, not actually laying the item out, not really showcasing or displaying the item in a good way. So there's a lot of risk involved that they're not disclosing up front, and that they're not willing to do anything to manage or fix, because when I reached out to them, they basically brushed me off and said, not our problem. They basically told me that because Flyp doesn't ever receive the items, they can't authenticate, so it's not their fault. They don't have any responsibility here. And I retorted back to them. I said, you tell sellers when we sign up that we're protected. You tell sellers when we sign up that we are going to not have any risk involved. And by only requiring clients to upload one photo, especially new with tags items, you're putting sellers at risk for losing their businesses and losing their accounts if they don't realize that these items are not authentic when they receive them. You're just putting a lot of trust out there, and it's putting a lot of people at risk. And there's going to be a lot more people unhappy with you should this require somebody's account being shut down. If it's deemed that they did this on purpose and that they're purposely selling fake goods. it could result in somebody losing their entire business. So it's not something to take lightly, in my opinion, and it was something that really frustrated me to encounter, and it caused me to really look at the app in a new perspective. Instead of being really excited, I was now like, okay, well, there's a lot of other issues here that I'm noticing now, because my biggest issue is that the fees come out of the seller's portion of the split of the the consignment item. So when you split the profits, even if you're splitting 50-50, the fees only come out of the seller's portion. There's no fees that come out of the client's portion. And that to me is really a glaring issue, because for obvious reasons, right? Like, if anything, those fees should be split 50-50 if the commission is being split 50-50. Or the fees need to be also split based on the commission at bare minimum. If not, the profit and the commission needs to be calculated after the fees have been taken out of the sale price. So it needs to be based on the overall earnings, not the sale price. So that's a big glaring issue to me that Flyp needs to address, because you're punishing sellers when we're the ones doing all of the heavy lifting to actually list and sell the item on behalf of our client. So that was frustrating to sit back and look at, because if this was my own business, I would be calculating commission split based on the earnings, not the sale price, or I'd be splitting the fees between the two of us. The other thing is that when I had an issue with a client being difficult, I'll say, and realizing that I no longer wanted to work with this client, it was incredibly difficult for me to return the items and get out of that contract. Meanwhile, if this was my own business, I could look at that client and say, your treatment of me makes the contract void. We're going to just wipe it. No questions asked. Here's your items back. No issues. Flyp doesn't allow you that same freedom. Flyp made me wait a week basically before they finally resolved the issue and allowed me to send the items back. Even though I was in communication with them, sending them the messages, and they had access to the messages and could see the transcript where this client was being incredibly difficult and borderline toxic. And I was like, I just want to send her items back so that we can both move on and find better fits for our situation. And they were really kind of difficult in that situation again. Like, it did not get resolved quickly. It was not easy to resolve. And there was just a lot of hassle in finally getting that shipment label to send my client her items back. So moral of the story is basically that I will no longer be using Flyp, as I said in the beginning of this video. I just don't see them as a beneficial fit for my business anymore. I want to take my consignment business or the consignment side of my business to a different level, and I don't think that Flyp is going to allow me to get there. They put really heavy limits on how many clients you can take on at once, which I understand is so that sellers don't get overwhelmed and so that there's enough to go around. But at the same time, it's really frustrating that I can't take on as many clients as I want at once. I can't guarantee that I can take clients on at a certain time because I don't know when I'm going to be matched with somebody. And so it's just really frustrating to keep coming into these roadblocks that I'm realizing are really limiting the consignment side of my business. So I decided to purchase a British Posher's consignment course. Had an amazing experience with it. I absolutely loved it. It was quick, easy to follow. She answered all of my questions about starting my own business. She gives you transcripts to send to potential clients, or like scripts so that you can address a potential client. She gives you strategies. She gives you pricing, structures. It's great. So if it's available, if you can get your hands on her course, I highly recommend it. I will link it in my description if it is available still. If not, I'm sure she'll be opening it up in the future. She did mention that there was probably going to be like a rolling kind of situation. So hopefully if it's not available right now, she will open it up again in the future. But it was a great course. I highly recommend it. And I absolutely loved it. And in my opinion, it was really, really worth the price point. So yeah, I am really excited. I'm going to be opening up the hippy-edit to receiving consignment clients on a completely different level. I think it's going to be really fun. If any of you are interested in partnering, you have inventory to offload, or you're looking to get rid of your own clothes, purge your closet a little bit, let me know. I'd love to help out. And yeah, I think it's just a really exciting path that I'm now on, and it took a somewhat negative or difficult experience to open up those doors for me. So here's my, plug to seek discomfort in life, to not be afraid of hard situations, and to just approach everything by looking at the silver lining, even when it's difficult, because I promise you that will help your perspective so much and will help you get through those tough situations in a much easier way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was kind of a rambly one, not really like a show and tell one, but it was nice to sit down and chat with you guys. And yeah, I will hopefully be uploading videos on a weekly basis. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell to turn on notifications for my channel so that you know when I upload or post or do any of that fun stuff. And all my socials are linked in the description as well. So be sure to follow me on Instagram. And yeah, if you want to be a consignment client of the Hippie Edit, reach out. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week.